Hello, my name is Steve Lord and I'm the Technical Director of Easytherm Limited. And today I'm going to be demonstrating the installation of an Easytherm Smart Programmer. But before I get started, I'm just going to tell you that this is number 2 of 4 videos and they're called Easytherm Out of the Box, Installing an Easytherm, Configuring an Easytherm and Using the Easytherm app. Okay, now we're going to get into the preparation phase, and the first thing to talk about as ever is safety, and there are just 3 messages that I want you to take away today. First of all is make sure before you start doing anything you read the installing the Easytherm manual, and especially the section called safety. Secondly, make sure that before you do anything that you fully electrically isolate the installation using, hopefully what you'll find is that there is a dual pole isolator switch. Make sure that that's turned off and that there's no electrical power to the installation. And finally, if you're at all uncomfortable about anything to do with safety, make sure that you employ the services of a qualified electrician. So, the next thing we're going to talk about is checking for Wi-Fi at the place where you're going to put the Easytherm. Remember that the Easytherm is a Wi-Fi device. And it's important that there is Wi-Fi at the place you're going to put the Easytherm. So today I'm going to use a little free Android app that I downloaded called Wi-Fi Analyzer, and there it is, you can see it. The first thing I have to do is just select which network we're testing for, and that's set up for the Sawadee network, which is the network in this house. And then just take the analyzer over here to where you're going to put the Easytherm. I've used this analyzer. You could equally use just a conventional smartphone or a laptop, and just check that there's at least 2 of the 5 bars showing on the Wi-Fi display indicator. That's covered that. A couple of words about heating systems before we get started. Today we're installing into a standard 2-channel Y-plan heating system. Easytherm wires up just like any conventional 5+2 or 7-day programmer, and really you should just be able to wire it into the circuit just as you would have an old 7-day programmer before. Okay, so one final thing before we get cracking is checking for space around the unit. Make sure that there's plenty of space around the existing programmer. Fortunately, Easytherm itself is in quite a small enclosure, and in most instances you'll find that Easytherm is quite a lot smaller or about the same size as the existing programmer, and even taking into account the slight offset position of the backplate in this instance, it fits into the base very nicely indeed. Also, it's worth considering the sort of tools that you have with you when you start an installation. In this particular installation there's lots of room underneath the existing programmer, but in some installations you might want to use something like this, which allows you to undo the programmer screws underneath without having to have too much clearance to put the screwdriver in. Good, so we're now ready to start the installation. But before we get cracking with that, I'd just like to talk a couple of words about thermostats. The Easytherm is designed to work with existing wired thermostats, and when you get the Easytherm out of the box, it comes already configured as default as being a programmer, and therefore if you've got a wired thermostat in circuit already, you will carry on using that wired thermostat just as it did before you changed away from your previous programmer to the Easytherm. However, it's worth keeping in mind also that you can configure Easytherm to operate as a thermostat, in which case it will use the internal sensor inside the Easytherm box itself and work as both a thermostat and as a programmer. So let's get started then. First things first, isolate the power. Now we can unscrew the previous controller. pop it off the back plate. A couple of words about safety and back plates before we get started on the next piece. The first thing to do is have a quick look using one of these, a safety screwdriver, to check that there's no main signal present on any of the parts of the back plate. Just check that the little light is not coming on. And that looks like it's fully isolated, so we're ready to go. The other thing that's worth considering is Easytherm has been designed to clip on to most industry standard backplates, which you'll find in place when you take the programmers off. Now normally Easytherm will just go straight on and clip straight over the same position as the previous programmer. There are a few programmers where the backplate is actually quite a lot bigger or might have more than 6 positions. In those cases you're going to have to unscrew the previous backplate and put the backplate that came with the Easytherm in the same position. That should be fine. The wires should be about the same length and you should find that the screw holes are the same, so that'll be a very quick job. But today it's all going to be very quick because we're going to use the existing backplate that's already there. So here we go. We take the Easytherm, we pop it onto the exact same backplate as was used before, push it into position, tighten up the screws. And now we're ready to turn the power back on. So there we have it. The Easytherm display is lit up, as you can see. Just make sure everything's all closed up nicely. And we're now ready to move to the next step, which is testing the Easytherm installation. If you've been following the video thus far, then you will have seen us install the Easytherm hardware and connect it to the electrical supply. We're now in the place where we can check that the Easytherm is capable of turning on and off the water and turning on and off the heating. So the way we can do that without any further need to connect to Wi-Fi or anything like that is simply to use the menu that's inside the Easytherm box, and that's available straight away without any further checking or configuration. So all I have to do is press the menu button, go straight down to the water program, select that, and then key down to on. I press on, and you can see that the little LEDs come on and it says on permanently against the water symbol. This is the water symbol. So give it a couple of minutes and then put your hand around the pipe that goes into the cylinder just to check that the hot water is coming through nicely to the cylinder. Once you're absolutely happy that that's working fine, the best thing to do is to move straight to testing the heating. But first of all, we've got to turn the water off. So we just move that back by using the menu buttons again to the off position and click off. Now you can see that both the water and the heating are off permanently. So to test the heating, just press the menu button one more time. Straight down to the heat program, and then navigate down to the heat on permanently and just press that. Now you can see that that's come on. Wait a few minutes and then just check that one of the radiators close to the boiler is warming up nicely, and all of the checking is then done. Probably best to put it back to off for now, because the next thing that we're going to do is to configure the Wi-Fi so we can connect the Easytherm to the Wi-Fi and then install the app. All of that is covered in the next video, which is the third video in our chain of videos, and it's called Configuring the Easytherm.